Yeah, I asked my wife if I was that's her. I asked my wife if I was the only one, and she said yes. The others were 8s and 9s. Okay, there we go. Welcome to Man Cow Monday Night Live, and here we are. I was supposed to be with John Lodge of the Moody Blues in Ocean City, New Jersey. And instead, I felt like I owed you a show, and I'm going to do a show. So here we go. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you know before you tuned in. This is where the angels and the devils find their juice on sides tonight. Me and part man, part monkey, part mystery. And the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. How are you feeling about America? The numbers for Biden are shocking. I wonder what the real numbers are. If CNN is saying he's at 30%, 29%, I'm being kind. If that's what CNN is saying, disapprove. See, I'm seeing lower. It's just the poll numbers are dropping. Like the tops over at the Showgirl place. And Disney stock is down. Get woke, go broke. Don't put Tim Allen in Toy Story, in a Toy Story movie, because he's a right winger. So anyway, I hope this show doesn't. If you've got soy breasts, if you're a fat white guy and you've got soy breasts and you're easily offended and you hate who you are and you hate your country and you hate your skin color and you don't understand why we can't let everybody in, and you may not like this. If you're on your fourth one. If my dog got 4 rabies shots, let's say 3, because all my commie lib friends have gotten the 3 shot. If my dog got 3 rabies shots, 3 in a year, and then got rabies, I'd be asking questions, let alone injecting my babies and telling others to do it. So you can't defend against stupid, folks. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be an antidote. The soy boys with their pizza breasts, they're very sensitive. They're always looking at their phones. What do I tell you? This is the white guy with a phone. And he's very angry. He's angry. You won't believe the guest we have tonight. Oh, this is a good one. Am I in picture? Let's frame it up. Here we go. I'll never forget Paul McCartney. Wrigley Field. Can't stand fall. This is not the real Paul McCartney. You understand that Paul McCartney, the star of the Beatles, this is not the real guy. He died in a car accident. The English government wouldn't let that $1 billion a year business go bye-bye. So they have a guy called Fall. He was a Paul impersonator. What you see is Fall. So I saw Fall at Wrigley Field, and he said, and I would have liked to go on stage and punch Sir Paul. What he said is, ding, 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 ding. We used to say when someone was, square, we'd say C, L7. If someone was square, we'd say the L7. Linda and I, L7. But Linda and I, we were not L7. We were C moon. C moon. C moon. I go, kids, let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I couldn't take it anymore. Trippy. We are going to go into outer space now. Let's start the show.
That I love ya, need ya, don't you got to have your time. Great God in heaven, you know I love. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da.
Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Man Cal Muller, and I want to go immediately to our guest. Is he still there? Did he hang up? And Nudie, this is low budget, Kevin. And this guy, where is he with his Just for Men die? This is the guy there, right? Look at that. He's sitting down there in Florida running this, and he was a Man Cal fan, and he talked me into doing this once a week. And I swear to God, he just hits. I just have to make up shit because he's just pushing buttons. All of a sudden, Jim Peter explained, there's my wife on the stairs. And I got to try to act like I'm not thrown. You know what I'm saying, Kevin?
No, I have no idea.
So it's just a huge amount of bullshit shoveling that I do every Monday night, but somehow we get through it and people like it. And Kevin, there's a guy named Bob Gleason, who I can't believe is still alive, who has the voice of death and had the voice of death 30 years ago. In fact, he used to play the voice of death on my radio show. I'm not kidding. And I said, I want someone to mix it up. I need someone exciting. And he knows everybody. And he said, you got to get Kevin Randle on. Why, Kevin?
Because I'm exciting and I know everything.
You know everything. Were you abducted?
No.
You were in the military?
Yes, for quite a long time.
What's your history? Your military history?
Military history, I went into the Army right out of high school because they told me that teenagers could fly helicopters in the Army. went to flight school, got to
Right.
Vietnam at 19, was an aircraft commander, did a whole bunch of missions there in Vietnam, came home, got out of the Army, went into the University of Iowa to study. The Air Force promised me a helicopter, not a helicopter, a jet to fly, and then they reneged on that deal, but I went into the Air Force for a while. It was in the active duty Air Force, was active Air Force Reserve, was an intelligence officer in the Air Force, got out of that. After 9/11, I went into the Iowa National Guard, deployed to Iraq, and finally retired as a lieutenant colonel in 2009.
Well, I got the long answer, but I asked for it, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But so were you did you see some things in your experience, some UFO stuff? Is that why I'm talking with you?
I've done quite a bit of research into UFOs. I've worked with Don Schmidt. I've probably interviewed over 1,000 people on various UFO sightings. I've written, Brad Steiger and I used to argue about this, who'd written the most UFO books. He thought it was me. I thought it was him. Anyway, I've written some 25, 26 books on UFOs.
Have I interviewed you before?
Yes, you have.
Okay. I have no memory of it. Forgive me. You know, I've been around a while and so have you.
Yes, but I remember the interview because we had to go to your studio really, really early in the morning.
When would this have been, Kevin?
1990, 1991, somewhere in that time frame.
So I mean, really at this point, the person that doesn't believe in UFOs is the oddball. So you were really ahead of the curve. There isn't a pilot that I can talk to now that won't say, yeah, they see things. Do you believe they're from another planet? Do you believe they're interdimensional, or do you believe they're, are they Chinese in origin, or are they from another planet?
I lean toward the extraterrestrial, from another planet, obviously outside the solar system. That's
and what have you seen? What do they look like? The spacecraft.
I can tell you what other people have said. Right now, the big description is of triangular shaped craft.
Yeah.
Huge triangular shaped craft. Before that, we were looking at the disc shaped craft. We were looking at cigar shaped craft. We're looking at all kinds of different shapes and sizes of UFOs. It really kind of depends on where you are and who you're talking to.
What do they want?
I have no clue.
Is it nefarious?
I don't think so, because they've been around since at least World War II and probably before that. And if it was something nefarious, I think we would know it by now. I think it's pretty much benign. I always looked at it, especially the sighting wave in 1973, where it took place over about 8 weeks. And it struck me, it sounded like a bunch of college students going out with a professor on some kind of an archaeological dig or social survey, gathered all the information they could, the reports of the craft on the ground, the occupants outside digging up stuff, capturing animals, taking plants, and then heading back to their home world to study it and write their PhD dissertations. But I think it's pretty much, for the most part, benign, because if there was anything nefarious, I think we'd have been well aware of it by now.
What, you've written all these books. What do they look like?
The standard description is of a child-sized gray alien with big eyes and a teardrop-shaped head, but there's a lot of other descriptions from.
Well, there's the mantis, right? There's the insectoids that scare the shit out of you. No one I've ever talked to had a pleasant experience. I've interviewed many, many people as well, and they it's a real horror show for them. Is it because they don't understand? They don't sense anything loving or. But of course, it is cold and calculating, and of course, we would be cold if we were dealing with an animal from another planet.
Well, that's one of the theories. But if you talk to people like John Mack, who believe they were creatures with a Eastern philosophy, if you talk to
David, what made him think that? What made him think they have an Eastern philosophy?
I think it kind of mirrored his own philosophies.
Yeah, sure.
And David Jacobs believes they're cold calculating aliens built on creating hybrids to infiltrate the human race. And Bud Hopkins was, the scientific aliens that were gathering their data. So it really kind of depends on the researcher you talk to and what they get about in the abduction phenomenon.
Do you believe that we've gotten a lot of our technology from them?
No.
Wow.
I think the problem is, I think the technology is so far superior to what we have, if we accept the Roswell crash as being real, that we haven't deciphered it yet.
Yeah.
And I say that if you took a VCR, for those of you who understand a video cassette recorder, a television set and a power pack back to Merlin the Magician, and you showed him this black tape, this black ribbon, and you said, and you tell him you can get pictures and sound off it. But to do that, he has to understand two things that are invisible: electricity and magnetism. He doesn't have the technological ability to decipher that that black ribbon. And I think that's the problem. We do not have the technology. I think we apply our technology as it grows to what was recovered in Roswell to see if we can now discern what makes it work.
Have you run into Whitley Strieber in your travels?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't call him a friend, but I've interviewed him many times. I'm going to have him on soon. We're also going to have the Kinks, a rock band called the Kinks, on, and some other surprises as well. We had a great surprise last week. But
you really got me with the Kinks.
Oh yeah, good. They played my wedding as well. Listen, Whitley, of course, talks about a child that he may have, a hybrid child that could climb walls that he thinks he had with a space person and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's fascinating. He seems to believe it. Seems like a lot of it's blarney to me, but entertaining blarney. And I hope to get him on here to talk about it. But Kevin, so your books, you've written more books than anyone else, maybe, on UFOs. Tell me some stuff I don't know. What are we missing?
Well, I think what happened is we got into this argument with the government about what UFOs are. And had the government not been surprised by the crash at Roswell, I think our discussions would have been a whole lot different. Had it not crashed at Roswell, where the government could control the media and the access to the information, we'd probably be having a whole different discussion. There was a series of sightings in Levelland, Texas in November of 1957, in which the cars were stalled by the close approach of the UFOs. The witnesses got good looks at it up to 15 minutes of the craft. And when the craft left, they could start their cars again. They called the Levelland police, they called the sheriff, and eventually the Air Force was involved in that. But the Air Force diverted the conversation to an argument to how many witnesses there were, overlooking the facts. And what happened at Levelland, we had the UFO interacting with the environment. We had witnesses independently reporting basically the same thing over a period of 2.5 to 3 hours. We had Air Force officers who apparently were following the sheriff out to look at it, and their car was stalled by the UFO. And we've never been able to find who those Air Force officers are, but I found references to them. The sheriff got close enough that his car was stalled, and in the official government report, they said, well, he just saw a streak of light in the distance. And the sheriff later said before that, and before the Air Force investigation and later, that he'd seen a football-shaped object, bright glowing red. And the next day he took his car into the police mechanic to have it checked out. And the only reason he would have done that is if his car had stalled. They also found landing traces. So think about this. We have like 4 different chains of evidence about the UFO sighting there, and the Air Force wrote it off as ball lightning. That's the explanation they still use today. Here was a case that was made with 4 separate chains of evidence, and I think it would have led us directly to the extraterrestrial had the investigation been conducted properly in 1957.
And they're afraid what? That I think all of this can coexist. I think there can be life on other planets. I'm a Christian. I can believe in a higher faith. I believe in a higher power, and I mean, there could be a higher intelligence on another planet as well. Why do you think the government, look, they love their power and they want more power all the time, as we see with this government. Is it just that they felt threatened by it, or why wouldn't they want us to know that these things were visiting us?
Well, interestingly, I did a book called UFOs in the Deep State. And I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's a retention of their power. When we look at our government, the president is elected for 4 to 8 years. He appoints the heads of the various departments or the agencies.
How many more years we got left of this guy? Think he's going to make it?
No.
Yeah.
But I always say, let's go, Brandon. So there you go.
Yeah, me too. Wow, what a nightmare. The pilots that I talked to, I can tell you a guy, Howard Seedorf from NJet. And they're all around his planes, and it's instantaneous, and they can do things that nothing can do. And I said, is it China? He said, no, it's not of this world. And he said, they're there, and they'll ride next to him for 20 minutes. And he said, the second you go with your phone to try to get it, they pulse out. He says, you put your phone down and they pulse back up. And I've talked to endless people that were in his planes and his co-pilots, and they all swear it's true. And then they describe what you describe, which is the triangular spacecraft.
Well,
You've never.
the
Yeah.
thing you have to remember is back in 1952, there's a whole bunch of sightings around Washington National Airport where the objects were seen on radar. They were intercepted by jets. When the jet interceptors arrived, all the UFOs disappeared off the radar scopes. When the jets went back to their home bases, the UFOs reappeared. And you had pilots from airlines and military pilots both seeing the objects in the air where the radar said they were. The government said, it was temperature inversions.
You've never been probed?
No.
Would you like to be?
Absolutely not.
Would you like to be abducted?
No, but I wouldn't mind visiting with them.
Yeah, nobody talks about it in a good way. I don't think you would like to be abducted. Kevin, is there a website that you want to mention? Is there a book you want to pimp?
Well, you can look at my blog at www.kevinrandle.blogspot.com, which covers an awful lot of this stuff. The latest book is Understanding Roswell, which is a cold case examination of the Roswell case taken from a dispassionate point of view. I think I've cut out a lot of the nonsense that surfaced on the Roswell case. And if you read it dispassionately, I think you're going to come to the conclusion it's probably extraterrestrial.
You read Alberino's book, Birthright?
No.
I think you'd like it.
Could well, but I have a lot of books I have to read.
Yeah, me too. Stacks over there. All right, Kevin, thank you. Let's say goodbye to Kevin. Kevin Randle, wonderful having you on, and again, written more books on UFOs than anybody else, he said, so, or close to it.
No,
yeah.
Brad Steiger said that.
Okay. All right. So let's say goodbye to him for now. And I just want to tell you, we got the Kings coming up. We've got Whitley Strieber is going to join us. And we got some other surprises as well. So Top Gun 2, I just saw the numbers, continues to be huge. It's not woke. It didn't go broke. And Disney continues to use excuses for their streaming platform and everything else. This is old Dominic's Distillery in Memphis. Big Ben runs it. And I invite you, if you're in the Memphis area, go over there and ask him to make you that whiskey drink he made me with coffee. Incredibly tasty. So, did you see the woman of the year, the woman swimmer of the year? Wow. There used to be two sexes, and now, it still echoes in my ears. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. Heard that my whole life from these folks, but not when it comes to this. Now, when it comes to experimental stuff, then you have to do it. So, stupid is knowing the truth, but still spewing the lies because you don't want to look stupid, right? That's what this is. People know they're wrong. Everything that I said 2 years ago about everything, and you know what I'm talking about, everything is proven to be true. Everything, but people lost jobs. Kids got unnecessarily sick. There's a lot of things I still can't say, and you have to read between the lines. And I hope you're able to read between the lines right now. And certainly, I would like the government to read between the lines right there. We were lied to. And I do believe that some people ought to be in jail for mass murder, man. Wow. The lives, the shit they pulled on us. And those of us that fought. And we now know, and I keep saying this, we know which neighbors and which friends would be yelling us to get on the boxcar. You go off to the camp. And I had arguments with professors. I wore a Reagan shirt. Remember when America had a real president? And we would argue. And they were commie libs, these professors of mine. And I'll tell you, when I didn't have money to finish school, they got together and pitched in so that I could finish. And you hear about Noel Coward and John Wayne fighting, and that's a world I believed in. Left and right, you could argue, but not anymore, man. I don't think they want to argue. I don't think they want to hear anything else. I think these commies, what they've morphed into, I think it's their way or death. And I can't believe what we're going to see. Epstein Island, what went on there? I think we're going to see that. It'll be added to a flag. I think we're going to see that 36 times. 36 times, Bill Gates, buying up all the farmland. At the same time, food distribution and food factories, people that build and produce and get our food ready. These factories are burning down by the hundreds. You've heard about this. Put that back up. 36 times. Bill Gates buying up farmland. And if you know the way these people think, boy, you control somebody's food, you control them. A starving man will do anything and everything. So, all right, Nudie, 36 times. Thank you, buddy. That's our producer. 36 times, Bill Gates. 36 times. Is that why his wife left him? Did she know something that we didn't know? 36 times to Pedophile Island. 36 times hanging out with him. 36 times. Wow. To Jeffrey Epstein. Does Mossad kill Mossad? Is he really dead? Do you believe he's dead? Do you believe he was murdered? I don't know. I'm asking the questions. And I see your comments. I love your comments. I love you. Keep me in your prayers. I'll keep you in my prayers. Remember to get the blood going in your face when you wake up in the morning. Lion face. And then you got to do the chicken face for me. What is he doing? What is he doing, huh? My body. My body. I control my body. If I have an 8-month-old fetus, it's my body. If I want to go, it's my body. My body. Oh no, but you gotta get it. You gotta get it. And everything I said was true. And has one a-hole that judged you and wagged a finger has one a-hole at Thanksgiving, one of those jackhole relatives of yours. Just get it. I don't know if I feel comfortable if you don't have it. We can't have Thanksgiving unless you get it. I don't. Oh, the babies. Got to get the babies. Muzzle up. And they were all wrong. And you knew it. You knew it. And you sat there. You just had to sit there like you shit your pants. And you have to put up with these assholes. And you just, you pray for them. God, please, God. And they were wrong. They were wrong. And Fauci's come out and said, he was wrong about so much. And has one of them been a big enough person to say, I really was a dumb fuck. Forgive me. Not one, right? Not one. Yeah. Not one. People dead. Jobs ruined. Not one. Well, maybe you're right. Nope. Because they know the truth. They're stupid. But they got to follow the pack, man. And I'm not talking about Pac-Man, you know that. There was a funny Family Guy where Mrs. Pac-Man was in bed and you could see Mr. Pac-Man under the sheets. And she's like, oh, yeah. Don't follow. I don't mean that. Galloping. Go to Galloping Ghost, the world's biggest arcade out by the Brookfield Zoo. My friend Doc Mack will take care of you. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean Pac-Man. Don't follow the pack. Don't follow the pack. Think for yourself. The individual created fire, and then the masses were afraid, and they beat him to death because they didn't understand it, and they stayed warm that very night with his creation, says Ayn Rand. And I am a fan of Rand. If you haven't read The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, you should. John Galt would be proud of me. Would be proud of what we did with that radio show. Hey, do me a favor. The next time you see a person with the Darwin flag sticker, the God haters, next time you see the Darwin sticker on the back of their car, the irony of it, and they've got a muzzle on and they're alone in their car, just roll down the window. Just for me. Just roll down the window. Hey, asshole! It feels good. Good night.